Hey there, Teddy Rumpskin here. Yeah. Whoa. Hey there, Teddy Rumpskin here, and happy Halloween, everybody. Yeah, it's Halloween, and I wanted to do something special. I mean, I've been doing something special all week, talking about creepy Halloween candies, like this thing, which is a box of boogers. That's gross. But for Halloween night, I wanted to do something extra special, right? So we're gonna play Castlevania Bloodlines on the Sega Genesis, which is one of my all-time fucking favorite games on the system. It's fucking awesome, right? Yeah, but first, we gotta talk a little bit of history on Castlevania, right? Yeah, going back to the very first Castlevania game, right? But there's a little misconception about what the very first fucking Castlevania game is, right? I mean, the original Castlevania is Castlevania on the Nintendo, the 8-bit Nintendo, right? But there's also a game called Vampire Killers, released on the MSX2 computer in Japan and the UK and stuff, right? And the original game actually came out in Japan called Devil Castle Dracula, right? Yeah, Devil Castle Dracula. Yeah, I usually like the original names in Japan. Like the original name of Ghouls and Ghosts is called Great Hell Village, right? Yeah, it's crazy. But I just call Ghouls and Ghosts Great Ghosts and Goblins, because it's got a nice ring to it, you know? But Devil Castle Dracula? It's kind of a fucking mouthful, you know? And Vampire Killer? Yeah. Well, actually, the game on the MSX2 computer, which, you know, had some funky games on it, you know, including this Vampire Killer, wasn't quite the same as Castlevania. I mean, it was very fucking close, but unlike Castlevania on the 8-bit Nintendo that had scrolling backgrounds, this one didn't, you know? Little guy would just walk through the screens. And actually, in this game, you had to collect keys. Right, you had to find these keys in order to open doors. Yeah. Well, I always thought that was funky in the original Castlevania, that he would, like, go through a door. Like, going through a door was a big deal, you know? Like, what's that about? Well, apparently that's because in Vampire Killer, you had to get a key to go through the door. And the game's very fucking similar to Castlevania, but there were little differences, like the keys and shit, right? Yeah. And there was also a game called Haunted Castle, released in the arcade, right? And back in the day, a lot of people thought that Haunted Castle was the original Japanese fucking Castlevania. But it wasn't. It was actually released a couple of years later. But, you know, caused some confusion back in the day, because, yeah. I actually saw, like, Haunted Castle at the Galloping Ghost Arcade. Yeah, that fucking place is awesome. It's got all kinds of awesome shit, including fucking ghosts and goblins and ghouls and ghosts. Yeah. Fucking Galloping Ghost Arcade's awesome. Yeah. It's fucking great. Gotta go back there sometime. But we were talking about Castlevania. So yeah, the original Castlevania is the original Castlevania on the 8-bit Nintendo. That's the first fucking game, and it's fucking awesome. Yeah. The whole game takes place in Dracula's gigantic fucking castle. And it's fucking badass. You know? Jumping around, fighting monsters, whipping fucking candles on the walls, finding items and shit like that. It's great. It's great. And that was followed by Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, which, isn't quite as good as the first game. But it's still cool, you know? Then there was followed by Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Yeah. And these games represent the original Castlevania trilogy on the 8-bit Nintendo. 3 pretty fucking badass games that fucking rock, you know? Dracula's Curse. Yeah, that's a pretty fucking cool game. I actually like that quite a bit. Then they made Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. Yeah, with improved graphics and different kind of gameplay. You could whip in all directions and stuff like that. And actually the nerd says that Super Castlevania 4 is one of his all-time favorite games. His favorite fucking Castlevania game. And it's pretty much his favorite game on the Super Nintendo. You know? I think it's alright. It's a decent game. Personally, my favorite 16-bit Castlevania is Castlevania Bloodlines. Yeah. But, you know, with Super Castlevania 4, it's designated as being both Castlevania 4 and being super, right? So shouldn't fucking Castlevania Bloodlines be called Mega Castlevania 5? Right? Because isn't it fucking Castlevania 5? I don't know. Because in Japan, it was actually released as Vampire Killer. Yeah, Vampire Killer. Like that Vampire Killer on the MSX2. You know? And in the UK, it was released as Castlevania The New Generation. Yeah. Yeah. And it was toned down, actually, because on the title screen of Castlevania Bloodlines, there's all this blood. But in the UK version, they turned it to water, right? It's all blue and shit. It was too bloody for the UK audiences, right? But yeah, Castlevania Bloodlines is one of my all-time fucking favorites. It's fucking badass. Then that was followed by Castlevania Dracula X, right? Which, yeah, it was a badass game on the Super Nintendo. But it was also released in Japan on the PC Engine CD. It didn't come over here to the States until it came on the Super Nintendo. And it was a little bit different, but still pretty cool. And then they made Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which, like at the very beginning of the game, you actually play the ending of Dracula X, right? Where you have that battle with fucking Dracula. Which is how Symphony of the Night starts off, like Dracula X ends.
But enough talk! How about you?
I didn't really play that much fucking Castlevania Symphony of the Night back in the day, because I didn't have a PlayStation, you know what I mean? I played that stupid Castlevania on the Nintendo 64, but that game fucking sucked. Right? I mean, shit. I mean, there was Castlevania games released on the Game Boy, Castlevania Adventure, and a sequel to that called Belmont's Revenge, right? And then other Castlevania games on the Game Boy Advance, there's just so many fucking Castlevania games I never fucking played beyond that, like Legacy of Darkness, Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance. Harmony of Dissonance? What the fuck is that? Lament of the Innocents? Dawn of Sorrow? Curse of Darkness? Portrait of Ruin? What the fuck? Portrait of Ruin? I didn't play any of these fucking games. Hell no. For me, like the last game was basically Symphony of the Night. I played a little bit of that, but I didn't have a PlayStation. It was cool, right? But I didn't play a lot of it. Maybe I'll get it, because I got a PlayStation now. Now I got a fucking PlayStation. Maybe I should get that Symphony of the Night game. Yeah, but, yeah. How exactly does Bloodlines fit into the other fucking Castlevania games? I mean, is it Castlevania 5? Came right out after fucking Super Castlevania 4. So it should be Mega Castlevania 5. But is it the 5th fucking Castlevania game? I mean that Castlevania Adventure game on the Game Boy came out before that. But does it count? I don't think it does, because it actually came out before Super Castlevania 4. So, I think it's a whole separate thing, so I don't even know. I don't even know how fucking Castlevania Bloodlines fits into the fucking timeline. Or if it does at all. Because the fact is, you're not really fighting Dracula. Actually, you're going after this Duchess chick, right? This chick here who's trying to resurrect fucking Dracula, right? You're not actually playing this Simon Belmont either. There's like these two other guys to fucking play. A guy with a whip and a guy with a staff. But it's still fucking cool. It's still a fucking cool game. And yeah, we're gonna play it fucking next time. Next time, we will play Castlevania Bloodlines on the Sega Genesis. Yeah, gonna fucking do it. Yeah, and we will kill fucking Dracula for good this time. Yeah. Until then, keep it real. Yeah.